Welcome to Golf Talk. I'm your host, Pat White, and today we're going to be talking about maintenance updates. We're also going to be talking about player events and what's going on in the golf courses from the player's perspective. And we're also going to talk about, in 2003, I lost a brand new pitching wedge at Tellico on hole number 3, and it hasn't been turned in yet. Again, thanks for joining us on Golf Talk, and I'd like to introduce the Director of Golf, Flenniken. Welcome.
Thank you, Pat.
And our Director of Maintenance, Wells McClure. Welcome.
Thanks, Pat.
So, Wells, we've been doing some aeration on some greens lately, all 3 courses. Can you tell us about that, and then just go right into what preparations are you doing for fall and winter?
Yep, thanks, Pat. Every year, the week after Labor Day is kind of our fall aeration period. In the past, years ago when we first got here, we would do a traditional core aeration where we would pull a core, heavily top dress the greens, and then it's 3-4 weeks really before the greens are kind of back in shape. And at that time, the greens needed it. They had a lot of organic matter that we needed to remove. We needed to correct years of buildup, and we were able to do that. So now we just get really aggressive in the spring, removing organic matter, and in the fall, we have a process called Dryject. It's a company in Tennessee, and they use a patented machine that they have and a franchise on. They're the only ones in the state that can do it, and it's a really neat machine. It comes in and it blows a hole in the green 3 or 4 inches down, and it automatically backfills it with sand.
Wow.
So it produces a vacuum with high pressure water, and then that vacuum kind of pulls the sand in right behind it. It fills it right to the top. And then it's kind of up to the superintendent's discretion whether they want to do anything in addition to that. At Tenacity, we did a 3/8 solid tine just to provide another channel for air, water to get into the soil, carbon dioxide to get out, and really just allow the roots to breathe a little bit after a long, hard summer. Tellico did something similar, just with a really small hollow tine. And then Jordan at Kahidi, his greens performed perfectly all year. He's got plans to do a solid tine later on in the fall, but he didn't opt to do that right now. And that's kind of the first process in our fall agronomic practices. We're all really short-staffed. We've lost a lot of our seasonal help. So right now we're doing a lot of mowing and maintaining. But with that being said, as we come into the fall, there's a few applications that we have to monitor soil temperatures on to make sure that we treat certain diseases or weeds before they become a problem.
Right.
So right now the big ones are large patch on our zoysia grass, primarily at Tenacity, which we have zoysia around our greens, and spring dead spot. And we monitor that based off of soil temperatures and college research that tells us kind of when to apply these products. And so once we feel like we're at that point, usually in the low 70s to upper 60s for 5 days or more. We checked yesterday, we were at 76 degrees for our soil temperature, so we still got a little breathing room. But with the temperatures cooling down starting this week and in the coming weeks, we'll be making those applications. Another really important one is our POA annual pre-emerge. So when you're out playing in the winter and the golf course is nice and brown and dormant and you got all these little green plants, that's POA annual bluegrass.
That's usually, it come up as $50, silver dollar size. It starts out and it's got these little white looking seed flower things. Is that what it is?
That's it, yeah.
Okay.
POA, and it's a very, some parts of the country it's a desired grass. I know Casey's played out in California some, and they have courses that are all POA annua. But here in the southeast on warm season turf that goes dormant in the winter, POA annua is a weed that we try to control. And the best way to control it is to apply pre-emerge, again, based off of soil temperatures, to get that chemical into the ground, and it'll prevent that seed from ever germinating. So we have certain products we apply around greens that we can't, or certain products we apply in the fairways we can't apply around the greens because of our bent grass. So we're just kind of monitoring those things right now and really trying to make sure we get the application down before it's too late.
So this is not at all like I do at my house. I put on some type of a fertilizer, it grows green, I cut it, I water it, and that's it.
Yeah.
This sounds to me, it's scientific and complicated.
Well, like again, there's a lot of scientific and collegiate research that goes into telling you when to apply these products. Like for instance, large patch or spring dead spot. They're diseases that attack the root system in the fall of the year when the soil temperature gets to a certain point. And if you don't apply that chemical in that window, you really won't see the effects of those diseases until the spring.
Yeah.
So we try to take care of it now, and then sometimes you do have to follow up in the spring.
Courses are looking great.
I appreciate it. Been a good year.
Okay, so Casey, Wells is making our golf courses perfect.
That's right.
That means that we should be having some events or things going on.
Absolutely, Pat. We're excited about October. We're kind of our last traditional golf month of the year, as Mother Nature will take its toll pretty soon. But in lieu of football, we still have a lot of events going on the golf courses. So October 7th and 8th at Kahiti and Tokwa is our men's member guest, or our men's member.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then we created a new event this year. I'm really excited about it. I've called myself the champion of this event. I'm taking it on. Within Tellico, I think people move to Tier 1. It's a special place, but it's a special place for reasons, right? And that's a chance you get to meet new people. So I wanted to kind of let golf be another avenue to do that outside of our new villagers and our various scrambles that we have. So I created the Tellico Village Couples Championship. It'll be the weekend of October 28th and 29th. The 28th will just be a welcome dinner. There's no golf that Saturday.
So this is a big event.
It's a big event. So there's a welcome dinner at the Yacht Club.
All right.
It's a kind of a welcome reception in luau. So the menu's incredible there. We got 10 or 12 menu items. The drinks will be flowing, and that event filled up in 24 hours. There's 100 players. I wouldn't be surprised, Pat, if this event goes 100 teams next year, 2 golf courses, 2 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see the sky's the limit with an event like this. And then on Sunday the 29th, we'll have a 1 p.m. shotgun at our Tokwa Golf Club, followed by scoring, and we'll utilize the pavilion there. Yeah. We picked an interesting format. I thought alternate shot, husband-wife probably wouldn't be.
I don't like that.
I don't think that'd be the best. So we're going to have select drive. So both players will get to hit a tee shot. They'll get 70% of their handicap, select the best tee shot, and play the hole, and continue the process on each hole. So we're excited about the event.
Good. So follow-up question. How did this come about? Was this your brainstorming, or did somebody come up and make a suggestion, or what?
I think I dreamt it, Pat. I just woke up and said, let's do it, right? I'm all about new events. And honestly, in my career, my tenure here at Tellico, every time we do something outside the box, something new, maybe non-traditional or not, it fills up every time, you know. Yeah. So we have a lot of people that enjoy events like this, and I've seen other facilities do it, and I think it's obviously well received.
Now we have a lot of singles in Tellico Village.
We do.
Husbands and or wives that play golf.
We do.
You don't have to be a married couple to do this. You can go get a friend.
We've established a team as 2 people.
Okay.
Right.
All right. That's good.
It's the couples championship, but we'll leave that to your discretion.
Okay. Wells, question to you.
Yep.
I live on the north end of the village. We had a big storm come through a couple of weeks ago. A lot of wind shear, and I think it developed into a tornado that went up and set down in Knoxville.
Yep.
Did it affect the golf course? Did you have some trees or leaves or wind? Were we affected by that in any way?
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. The first 2 weeks of August were really interesting. Usually August is kind of when we start our, July is typically a lot of rain, humidity, and then August kind of starts the dry period. September, October, traditionally the driest months of the year. This year in August, we received 6.6 inches of rain at Tenassi, almost 9 inches of rain at Kahiti.
Wow.
So a lot of rain, especially those first 2 weeks. I think in one event we got 3 inches overnight, which flooded the golf courses, caused a lot of problems. But the wind you're talking about was a major issue. That event, we didn't have a lot of rain, but we had a ton of wind. And I think between Tenassi and Tokwa, we lost around 15 trees.
Right.
Total trees came down. Not many strategic trees, maybe one on the left side of 3 at Tenassi came down. If you miss way left now, you got a clear shot to the green. We're used to a hackberry was kind of blocking you out. But we lost lots of big branches, debris just littered throughout the golf course. So it was quite a bit of cleanup process. And in fact, something that's happened now, I guess this is the 3rd time it's happened in my career at Tenassi, but we had a lightning strike, a direct strike to an irrigation head on number 9 at Tenassi. Blew the top of the head apart, blew parts of the irrigation head, parts that were underground 10 feet away.
Wow.
Blew a surge protector on an irrigation box on number 8, tripped all of our breakers in the pump house, and blew solenoids. There's an electrical solenoid on each irrigation head that when it gets the signal, it opens up and lets the water run, and we blew 9 solenoids on hole number 9 at Tenassi.
Amazing.
So it was a major storm with some major damage and some pretty good costs associated with it. And those are things that we try to plan for, but some years we don't get them, some years we do, and this year we got some good ones in August.
So follow up to you, Casey. How many days was the course down after blowing all these solenoids and pieces of junk?
We shut the golf course down for 0 days.
Really?
Yeah. So Wells and his crew were out first thing in the morning to get it. You know, that afternoon. That happened what time? 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was GAC day.
2 or 3 in the afternoon. So that afternoon, obviously, all tee times they were calling to cancel or no showing, and you know, just a shout out to our maintenance crews.
Absolutely. What a great job. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
And then you go play the next week, and the courses are pristine.
Yeah.
Other than a few, that hackberry tree, I don't miss it.
No, they're a problem tree anyways.
Yep.
Okay, Casey, back to you.
Sure.
We usually give a player update, but I would like to do a little experiment here.
Okay.
Let's see if we can keep players updated by you giving us a website we can go to on any given day or time of day
Sure.
to tell us what's going on the golf courses.
Yeah, Pat, if you'll go to www.golftellicovillage.com and click the calendar tab there. We actually just went through this morning, and we made sure that duration of 2023 is correct.
Oh, good.
A lot of players utilize that when they're requesting. They want to look and see, is there a league there, is an outside event there, and you know, our golf operation is always evolving, you know, and people are calling, can we have tournaments, can we do this, do that, and so we're trying to make sure that we do a much better job moving forward with keeping that up to date, and you know, that's hard. There's a lot of calendars blocking off Chelsea, the website, so making sure that our players have the access to always know where they can and can't play is really important.
Well, that also helps a golfer that's leading a group or getting a tee time to be a very savvy Chelsea user, too.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of, you know, I don't question anybody's intelligence around here around Chelsea because there's a lot of savvy people.
As I mentioned in the introduction, let me give you a little background on my pitching wedge story. So in 2003, my wife and I are here looking at property, and I got an opportunity to play Tokwa. We hadn't moved here yet. Didn't move here until 2007, and I played Tokwa, and I remember exactly where I left my brand new pitching wedge that I just bought on Tokwa hole number 3, just past the 2 bunkers on the right. I finished playing, I went back to find it, and it was gone. Lived in Maryland, went to Maryland, called back almost every day, and it never got turned in. And what made me think of this story was I did the same thing at the Tokwa driving range the other day, but I did find my wedge and also realized why I left it, and that was because I didn't put it in my walk path back to the cart to start the first hole. So I'd like to turn this to Casey. And Casey, let me ask you, do you have any hints or tricks or tips that we can not lose head covers, putters, chipping wedges? We don't see many drivers or fairway clubs laying around.
Don't. You know, what I'll always do, Pat, is when I take my driver out, I put the head cover where I'm sitting in the cart. If I'm walking, I always put it on top of my golf bag. And I always put my head cover back on after each shot, 1, so I don't lose it, 2, so I protect my equipment. You also see a lot of golf clubs left. One of the most interesting clubs that is left in Tellico Village, and I don't know how this happens, is a putter.
Yeah.
Well, how do you lose your putter? I don't know, but it happens. A couple things that I'll do when I play, and I think the more speedy players will do, is if you've got a wedge shot, right, you're 40 yards from the green, hopefully that time you're hitting the green, but eventually you're going to get it to the green, right? And so you hit that wedge shot, grab your putter, go to where your golf ball is, mark your golf ball, and if you're not anybody's way, put your wedge right next to where you're putting from. And after you hit your putt, walk to the hole, or take the wedge, and while you're walking around reading the green, go on the line of where the golf cart is. You're going to have to walk in that path, right? There's so many times I've been playing in groups, and the carts are in the back of the green, and the flag's in the back of the green, and I'm walking off the green just kind of looking, and there's a wedge laying at the front fringe, and I just think, why is it? Nobody's been there for 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
You know, we want to make sure that we're always coherent of where our clubs are, and I always think that near me or in my path is the best way to go.
We talked about pace of play.
Yeah.
And you want to keep the pace of play up, but in reality, if I chip a ball up or I have a long putt and I drop that wedge on the front of the green and my exit is on the rear of the green, I'm probably going to have a little delay time because my fellow golfers are going to be putting or whatever. So I can walk around to that path I'm going to use between the pin and the exit and drop my wedge.
Absolutely, and highly encouraged. And I mean, there's there's more things that I see than just that. You know, a lot of it has to do with rangefinders.
Yeah.
And our golf carts have a heads-up display that tells you the yardage, you know. So for me, if I see 160, I'm going to take an 8 and 9 iron out there, and when I get there, I'm going to figure it out, right? Because I know that's about how far my clubs go, and I know everybody doesn't hit their club that far, but it varies per person. So get an idea of what it is. Then when I get out there, I range find it, and once I do, I lay my shooter down, whatever club I choose. I put the other one down. I hit my shot. I grab my stuff, and we go about our business. I see so many people walk out to the fairway, laser, back to the cart, back to the ball. Now I forgot to get the sand, back to the ball, you know, and it's just.
Well, why did they lease the cart?
Do what?
Why did they lease the cart?
Yeah, exactly.
I walked another 100 yards.
Yeah, exactly. So you see a lot of that, especially when it's cart path only.
Yeah.
Get savvy with making sure you bring your golf clubs. There's times I take my golf bag off because I don't know what I'm going to use, and I just walk. Right. And so.
Little follow-up here.
Yep.
So I find the club.
Yep.
It's laying on the back side of a green or front of a green. I pick the club up. I take it to my cart when I'm finished. Should I put it in the bag, or should I put it somewhere where I'm going to remember it's an extra club?
I'd put it somewhere different for sure, either in the back basket or maybe between the bag and the strap, you know, hanging there. Somewhere different, you see. And I tell people that when they lose stuff, might be a week or two before somebody plays golf again and they realize, oh no, it's been since 2003 since I found Pat's pitching wedge. Here's your pitching wedge back, Pat. So
I would love to have my pitching wedge back from 2003.
We'll continue to look for it. I can get Loudoun County, Monroe County Sheriff on the case, looking for it as well.
It's not
for
that important. Okay, Wells, back to you. I almost forgot you. We have one more segment.
Yeah.
You recently showed us how to make a hole placement video. You got that with you?
Yeah, absolutely, Pat.
Right.
So every day we go out, we change hole locations. I say every day, but we kind of have a threshold. If we have 50 golfers or more at a location, we'll change the whole location just to spread the wear. And when we're changing the hole locations, we do our best to try to put them in a good spot. Sometimes we're doing it in the dark with flashlights. It can be tough. You know, some folks will get out and play and go, oh, why do you put that there? But in the dark, you know, it can be tough. And as the greens speed up, the areas that you can put a fair hole location get smaller. The USGA did a study years ago. As green speeds go up, the degree of slope that you can fairly put a hole location on go down. So if our greens are 9 feet, we can put it on a 4% slope. If our greens are 10.5 feet, we can put it on a 3% slope or something like that. So we just got a quick video just showing, I think it was on number 12 at Kahiti, back during, right around Member Guest, I believe. And so, yeah, it's just a quick hole location video, so we'll check that out, and then y'all can see that one. So I just kind of want to give you a rundown on how we change cups every day. We do this every day. We have 50 or more players, which most of the year is every day in Tellico Village. So this is a kind of a setup bucket. It's got about everything in it that we would need: paint, brush, tool to level the cup changer, shovel. And then on the side of Jordan's boxes, he's got his hole location sheet. As you can see, we try to spread the wear. Kahiti's greens are a little smaller. Tenassi's got 5 locations. Toqua's got 4. Kahiti's got 4. And we try to put them in a way that you're not going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We try to spread them out. Try to find a good spot away from an old plug, not on too much of a slope, not around right next to a ball mark. Again, all the slopes in Tellico, or all the greens in Tellico Village have quite a bit of slope on them, so you kind of got to look for a good location. But you can see an old plug here, an old plug there, so we'll just kind of go, we'll kind of go right in here, I believe. And so yeah, this is a cup cutter. It allows us to change cups every day. And we'll just, a lot of times we'll get it started, step back, make sure it's pretty well straight. Give it a spin just to break the soil loose. Pull it out, and there's your plug. So we'll come up here to the old hole. All right. So you typically have to pull just a little bit out to get it to match up. Remove a little bit more sand because we want these plugs to sit flush. We don't want them a little high, a little low. A little high, they'll scalp, a little low, they'll affect ball roll. So that's pretty good. And take a knife just to kind of work some of our edges. Step it down, and ideally you want to put a plug in the old hole and have it almost unidentifiable. And before we put this cup in, I just want to show the camera a few things. Some folks wonder why we aerify, why we do some of the things we do to the greens in the spring, and we're just trying to dilute that organic matter. So inside this hole is a perfect example. You can see all these different channels of white sand. You can see this nice layer, some of this nice dilution of the organic layer up here on top from the weekly top dressings that Jordan does. And any of these channels that you see is just what helps allow these greens to drain. Take the flag, make sure it's pretty well straight. Step back, look at it from a couple different angles. And course setup, in my opinion, is one of the most important jobs every morning. There may be 200 people that play this golf course today. All 200 are going to be looking at this hole location. The last thing we will do is paint this cup. Let me put this down here to protect the inside of the cup. And we have this little tool. We set down. This disc just protects the area of the green around it. Keep any paint from getting on it. And this is just a nice touch that we like here in Tellico Village. It really kind of makes the whole location pop. Our director of golf, Casey Flenniken, feels like that a painted cup is easier to identify out of your vision when you're lining up a putt, especially from a bit of a distance. So that's another reason why we do it. And it's just a nice touch.
Are there guidelines about how far it is from the edge of the green?
Technically, I don't believe there's an actual rule, but we try to keep it at least a flag stick off the edge. So we try to keep it out into the green at least 6 feet.
And what about putting it on a slope versus a flat spot?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we do the best we can to try to keep it in a flat area. But if you've played Tellico Village, you know none of these greens are all that flat. The USGA has done some studies, and the degree of slope for an allowable cup can change throughout the year, and a lot of it's directly related to green speeds. So if your green speeds are a little slow, the degree of slope that you can put a hole location on and it still be fair to most golfers goes up. And conversely, if the greens are fast, the degree of slope goes down. So that's kind of something we manage. Here in Tellico, we try to keep our greens for daily play around 10 feet. With the slope we have, that's a very fair speed. It's a fun speed. It's not too fast. And then that way, if we do have a tournament or a low handicap group or something coming up, we can mow and roll, and that should get us up close to 11, which, again, when your greens are 11, you got to be a little more careful about where your hole location's at. There are some sections of the greens that you just can't put it on when they're that fast. But 10 feet's what we shoot for at all 3 golf courses. That keeps us consistent. And some greens might seem faster than others, but that's likely because there's a little more slope in that area.
Appreciate the video, Wells. Thank you both, Casey and Wells, for joining us. And for you, there's the best time of year to play golf. We have reduced temperatures, courses in excellent condition. Daylight saving time is still making lots of daylight. We hope you go out and have fun and play well. See you next time.